everyone. My name is Julianne Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. Happy, what is it, Thursday? No, it's Monday. Woo! I always forget what day of the week it is. And it's not Monday, is it? Anyway, these things happen when you work at home. Anyway, I have an awesome guest today. His name is Jacob Craig, and he has written an amazing book. And I've been looking forward to this interview all week. Because he likes to talk about and knows so much about the things that I'm passionate about as well. So let's bring him on without further ado. Hi, Jake. How are you?
Hey, Julianne. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, except not knowing what day of the week it is. Other than that, fabulous.
Hey, it happens to all of us.
Yeah, I
don't want to admit that don't want to admit that it's Monday, right?
Exactly. So anyway, I know a little bit about you, but our audience doesn't. So I would love for you to share a little bit about yourself and your own wellness journey.
Absolutely. So I'm Jacob Craig. I work to help people achieve goals that they never thought were possible. That's my main mission, my main goal. And so how I do that is by educating people and help them find resources, whether their goals are their relationships, their health and fitness, just getting motivated and finding what area of their life needs most improvement. So my first book is focused on health and fitness. So it's Inspiring Leaders in Health and Fitness, Volume 1, and that just released in March. And what it is, it's a series of biographies of people in the health and fitness space. So, I look to a great variety of experts for my knowledge, and I simply wrote this book to help share that knowledge with others so that they can get inspired and get the same value that I did from them. So I really tried to get as much variety as possible so that no matter what lifestyle you live, you can really find something that works for you, a diet and exercise plan, as well as little tips and tricks that help you with sleeping habits and little nutrition tidbits here and there that can help you just improve your lifestyle overall. So it's really what I try to do. And like I said, the main form is through writing. I also do a daily live stream through Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and it's just my morning routine. I was following a book called The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, and what that is a book compiled of 365 days of Stoic philosophers and quotes that they have and passages to follow to kind of help you start and set some perspective on your day. So I used to do that, and then I'd read my goals to myself, and that used to be my morning ritual. I decided to take a spin on that and do it live stream. So I share it with people. I've gotten to meet some amazing people and just love to interact with them and help them get their day started off on the right foot too. So really just trying to help people get started on their own self-improvement journey and kind of share the information that I learned so that they can get the same value. So that's basically what I do.
I love that. So you mentioned a few things that I am obsessed with. First of all, I read that book too every morning. So, and I have the journal companion. So I love that. Yeah. But something that really stuck out to me is that you want to be a resource. And I love that you're not stuck on this is the way and the only way. And that, there's something for everyone because we all are bio individuals. So I love that you have touched on that because a lot of people think, okay, well, that worked for that person, so I'm going to do that too, even if it doesn't make sense to them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, how long have you been doing this morning live stream?
I'm on episode 120. Well, 128 was today. So it's usually just a 30 minute live stream where we go over a quote. I'll grab, a different quote each day. I have not repeated the same one twice, and it's always something a little different. And so we follow the theme. Sometimes it's based on confidence. Sometimes we delve into goal setting. If people ask me questions, I, let them use it as a space to say whatever they want to say. If they have good news to share, anything like that to, help them get their day started. And I always say something that I'm grateful for that day as well, and try to encourage people to do the same thing. So it's really, an all-encompassing morning ritual. And then I'll also read my goals to myself when I'm done too. And that's just kind of, my daily habits and just reaffirming what goals I have set. So I'm constantly working on, whatever it is that I'm working on.
No, I love that. And you said the magic word, habits.
Mm-hmm.
That, a lot of people set out to do something and then they just don't, they stop doing the things that make it possible. So, a lot of that has to do with habits, as you are fully aware. So I really want to just jump into the meat of habits. Why not just get right in there?
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of people I follow that look into habits specifically. If you know James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, he's such a fantastic resource. That's my favorite book that I got to read last year was Atomic Habits, and there's so much knowledge in there. It's definitely a book worth picking up for anybody. But yeah, it's so easy to get trapped in our bad habits and fall down a bad cycle and just continuously doing the wrong things. It's just easy to get in a comfort zone. You're comfortable. Why change if I'm happy the way I am? And but if you do some deep thinking, deep reflecting of where you want to be and the things you can accomplish, I think you'd be surprised at the level that you're able to reach and the things you're able to accomplish if you do put yourself to the test and start to form those good habits. The biggest concept I really took away from Atomic Habits is how he talks about identity change. Really, if you want to help yourself form a new habit, you need to create that mindset that you're that person or you're not that person. For instance, if you're he uses the popular concept of somebody trying to quit smoking, because that's always we all know people who struggle with that. And he says the biggest thing is really forcing that mindset and saying, I'm not a smoker. So if somebody offers you a cigarette, don't say, oh, I'm trying to quit. I started a few days ago. I'm trying not to smoke anymore and no thanks. Like, yeah, that's okay. It's going to work for a little bit until you're fall out of that mindset. You have one cigarette and then you're back in it. You have to start it all over again. Instead, say, no, sorry, I'm not a smoker. So you set that mindset. You simply told that person, I'm not a smoker. And so they, won't ask twice and you won't even think of it twice. You just move on past it. And it just creates this whole new level of mindset so that you can work on things. If you want to be somebody who works out every day, you need to set that mindset. And the biggest thing, I'm also reading David Goggins right now. I don't want to overwhelm people with names and books, but one huge thing that I'm learning from him is it's similar. It's a lot of the motivation and success space. It's so much about mindset, and he's all about holding yourself accountable. So and it's important to say to yourself, if you miss a workout, that tell yourself it's not okay. If you want to, you should really be holding yourself accountable so that the next day, you don't fall into that pattern and just tell yourself, I'll resume in a month. I need a little time to make sure you have yourself in check and you're working towards your goals. And yeah. I went off on a tangent.
No, I love it. I love it too. For those that are watching, doesn't Goggins swear a lot if you're watching his YouTubes?
He does.
Yeah.
So that's
just a warning.
That's a good caution. He had a very difficult upbringing, and I find those learning from those type of experience, because I for one was very privileged. I had a very privileged childhood. So learning from what those people are able to grasp. He was abused as a child and had a very, very, very tough upbringing, and he's not afraid to show his emotions through his experience. So yes, he has an unfiltered approach. So it's not something you would want to watch with your 5-6-year-old, but if somebody in high school, I think it's absolutely appropriate to it's great education and what you can learn from someone like that. Like I said, he had a tough upbringing, and then he decided he was going to be a Navy SEAL. He fails, and then third try makes it through BUDS, and then he goes on to become an Army Ranger. He goes through Army Ranger school, and then following that, he's a ultra marathon runner. So what's great about these people, even the health and fitness people that I follow, a huge thing is that these people never reach a pinnacle and they say, okay, I've made it. I have this 8-figure supplement company. So, that I'm just going to cash in and let's sit on that. And I did my work. I did my dues. No, they keep working. They keep influencing as many people as possible in a positive way. And that's the amazing, amazing thing. There's so many people out there just trying to give value to people. And that's really what it's all about. So.
Now, that is a really good point, too. And he does have a fascinating story, by the way. And he has accomplished so many things. But something that I was thinking about is a lot of people stop. So let's say he didn't make it through the SEALs training the first time. Most people would stop, but he didn't. What do you think is the number one reason why people think that they can't form new habits? Because part of that is habits, like how you come at something.
Right. I think number one would be, people lose confidence in themselves. They say, I'm simply not that person. It's not in my genetics, or, I can't be that. So why would I work towards that? And that's just a foolish way of thinking. You should obviously know there are limitations. Each person isn't, equal in any sense. And so what your goals are and what your lifestyle brings is totally different what somebody else, it's true that genetics do play a role in some places, but you'd be surprised at what you're able to achieve if you, as I was saying, if you put yourself to test and truly figure out what you want to achieve. There's really no limits. It's as soon as you get started and you start working and you are assessing goals for yourself and you start, making those little steps to get there, there's no reason, there's no, negative thing that's going to come from that. It's a learning experience, if anything. So it's always worth it in the end. And but I'd say the biggest thing would have to be, people just lose that confidence in themselves, or they don't have the confidence to get started. And that's a huge thing that I've been talking about lately, is trying to help people with, how they can build confidence in really any goal that they want to set or achieve.
I love that. So I'm actually I don't always do this, but Daniel Faust has a question and I'd love to have you answer that. When do we keep going compared to giving up? When is it either one good or bad?
When do we keep...
How do you know? Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, no, I love this though. I am a live streamer, so I'm used to people asking questions and being able to answer on the spot. So he says, when do we keep going compared to giving up? When is either one good or bad? It really depends on the situation. There's so many situations to talk about this with. If you're reaching towards a goal and say, you realize that it's way out there and you're never going to achieve it, maybe you do need to do some reassessment and think, maybe I need to dim these numbers down or figure out a new path to get to my goal, because your system right now is just not right. If you keep doing the same thing, you see no improvement, that probably means you're doing something wrong. So a lot of times if you're working out but not seeing muscle gains, you're either not eating enough calories, or you're not eating the right things, or you're not working hard enough. And so, it's not just, okay, I did my walk. Why am I not seeing, those 30 pounds off in a month? I did what this person told me to do. Why isn't it happening? Well, you need to be honest with yourself, look down and say, I should be doing a little more if I want to reach those goals. And maybe it's something totally different. You're thinking about the exercise when, it's your diet that needs some working on. There's always things we could use improvement on. There are cases where it's tough to say that there's cases where giving up completely on a goal is a great idea, unless you think of another goal to replace it that's more worth it to you and you can achieve, and you'd be proud of yourself for achieving. So.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, because I think sometimes we set goals for ourselves that aren't actually in alignment with who we are or what we truly want. And the more we reach towards those goals, the more we realize, ooh, maybe this isn't exactly it. So then at that point, I would say, let's switch it around. Because if I had done that, I wouldn't have studied biochemistry at university for 4 years. I don't like biochemistry, so I should have figured that out sooner. But yeah, no, I love that. I love that idea too about, readjusting your route instead of the goal. So what are there ways that you would recommend that somebody could maybe, I don't know, make smaller steps, for example?
Sure. Something that one of the people I wrote about recommends, this is from Dr. Kate Shanahan. She recommends every time you go to the grocery store, pick up a new healthier item in replacement of another. And each time you go to the grocery store, just make it a point to, add another thing into the cart that's healthy and remove something that's unhealthy. And that's a simple, easy way to ease yourself into it. I personally took a stronger approach. I really, I was, reaching a weight I wasn't comfortable with. So I decided I need to find a diet that worked for me. I looked into a few different ones. I personally started with paleo because it was pretty much just get rid of the packaged foods and the high dense carbohydrates. And not that carbohydrates don't have their place and that they're bad. I'm not saying that. But just the paleo diet, it forces you to eat real foods, and also, helps with cutting calories at the same time, because it's so easy to overstuff yourself with potatoes and French fries and rice. It's just easier to overconsume those things. So yeah, you can definitely start small and start, little things that help every time. Some little things that I always do is, if I have fruit, I like to keep it. And this comes from James Clear too. And another person I wrote about, Dr. Kelly Starrett, who's a physical therapist. They actually say the same thing, as if you have you should have your fruit bowl out on the counter so that it's always there. So you walk by it every day. It's easily accessible. You're so much more likely to have it if it's there, rather than in the bottom of your fridge tucked away, where, you're never going to see it unless you have the thought and then have to walk to the fridge and pull open the drawer. It's just creating an environment where it's more easily accessible, and once it helps create that habit too. So.
No, I love that. And what are your thoughts on making it harder for the negative habits? Because I know that's definitely, like if you have donuts in your house, you're probably going to eat them.
Yeah. So for that, I would just say simply, avoid buying those foods. I know it's not easy for everybody, and I know if you have a lot of people in the house, other people aren't going to agree with your change, but try to add an obstacle for yourself to get those things. Or maybe it's a mindset switch that, it's really, you're treating yourself rather than just indulging. And if you realize that, if you have that mindset, you realize how much you were indulging before, versus if you give yourself, a cheat meal once a week, or, I used to do a small piece of dark chocolate at the end of each night, and that has its own benefits, and it's healthier, but it also gives me that sweetness that I was looking for, because I used to love candy. And it just reinforces that habit, but it's something to look forward to, and you see it as a treat. So it's easier to build that habit.
I like that, because it's coming, so it's easier to hold off when the temptations are in front of you. And then the thing with cheat meals is, I've always thought that it's not cheating if you plan it. It's cheating if you don't plan it. Because if you're looking forward to it, like a birthday cake, somebody's birthday's coming up. Part of food too, in my opinion, is enjoying it with the people that you're spending your life with. Now, having birthday cake every single day, that's not the same thing as, once, every few times a year, or whenever a birthday happens to be. But those are just my thoughts.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally 100% agree with you. And if other people, are more in tune, they find a diet, they want to be strict on it, or else they can't, they relapse too fast, then that's just how their lifestyle is. If they enjoy it living that way, that's fine. But if my mom decides to bake me a pie, I'm not going to say no. You know what I mean? I'll have a slice of the pie, and maybe I'll eat it more gradually than I would have in the past, or I'm more conscious of how it affects everything, how it affects my energy levels the next day, and how I'm if I do eat half a pie the next morning, I'm not going to feel like getting up and going for a workout, or I'm going to have a headache at the end of the night. Things like that I can foresee, so it helps me to not go after those things. So
I love that you mentioned that, because a lot of people don't even equate what they're eating with things like energy levels, or that it will affect them the next day, or the headaches, like you just mentioned. A lot of people aren't really aware that, their whole body affects their whole body, and what you put into it affects everything about you. So I love that you brought that up, because not a lot of people talk about that. And that's so important. What would you say, for you personally, is one of the best eating habits that you've been able to create or incorporate into your life?
For me, a simple good one. I'll give you a couple. They're simple ones, but they are good for me and what I see from what I've learned. And this isn't taking what somebody really taught me specifically from my book, but it was learning. Okay, I learned how much water on average somebody should be drinking each day, and that's roughly around a gallon. Different people say different things in that area, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, and a gallon might be a little over the average, but it's a good, there's really no thing close to between 100 ounces and a gallon. So what I do, what's easy for me, is if I just keep a thermos, something with me every day, and I also start and end my day with a tall glass. It's like 10, 12 ounces of water. So I start off and end with that. And so if I just do those two things, keep water with me all day and start and end with a glass, it's so easy to hit that gallon. It might seem like a lot. People don't know a gallon, I believe, is 128 ounces, but it really, if you do those things, it really makes it easy. You'd be surprised how many times you do pick up water and realize you could use it, and it's just easy to reach that goal. And maybe you need to keep that goal in mind at first, but after doing it for a month, it's just a very easy habit to maintain. And another one, we talked about whole foods a little bit. Obviously, the biggest thing when it comes to diet, nutrition, is eating whole foods. It's as simple as that. So what I try to do is each and every day get 1 cup of vegetables and a cup of fruit. If I'm definitely a little more on the vegetables than the fruit, and if I'm trying to diet and try to eat healthier, then I'll also try to maybe eat 2 cups of vegetables too. And always trying to be better and better at that. But and there's something I do too. Sometimes it's not easy. Say it's 10 o'clock at night and I go, oh shoot, I missed that. I have a Super Greens supplement, which is just a teaspoon that you mix with your water, and there's a cup of vegetables, a cup of kale, or a cup of greens that you can just throw into a glass. And so I don't want to say that I try to avoid doing that. I try to get the natural foods, and I mean, that is natural. It's just but anyways, but I do my best to eat, whole natural foods for those vegetables and those fruits. So for me, water and whole foods are very, very basic and general things that I try to follow each and every day.
Well, also, people don't talk about what it's like when you start to increase your water. Things like, most people know that you'll start having to go to the bathroom more often. But what most people don't realize is that kind of dies back down after your body gets used to the idea of having it, coming in. But did you find that your appetite also, you're not as hungry because actually you were thirsty?
It's tough. It's tough to say, because really, when I got started, I feel like I was changing things so fast and finding these things so fast, and so I was making these adjustments, and obviously I got better and better. But it's tough to pinpoint and say what it was, because I was changing my diet while also building these habits. So it's tough to, and I've been doing it, for years now, so it's tough to say what exactly it is. But yeah, so it's tough to answer that.
No, it is. It is tough to answer. Like you said, you're one of those rare beings that can do like multiple things at a time. I happen to be one of those rare beings as well, but a lot of people aren't. So maybe we could talk about that after the commercial break a little bit, but we do need to go to commercial. So we'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, see, wealth of knowledge right there. Love him. Love how much he shared with us, even about what other people have taught him. That to me is an amazing leader. But we do have to go to a commercial break. But before we do, I do want to say hello to everyone who is watching us live. Hi. And we'll be right back after these messages.
When drug or alcohol addiction take over, things begin to disappear. Your friends, your family, and eventually, you. Recommended by Dr. Phil, New Method Wellness can help get your life back with individualized treatment plans for dual diagnosis clients. New Method Wellness provides the most highly credentialed treatment in a safe and welcome environment. Call New Method Wellness for your free consultation and ask about our national accreditations. Together, we can put the pieces back together.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us now, my name is Julie Ann Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. And today's guest is Jacob Craig, otherwise known as Jake. Let's bring him back.
Hello, hello.
Hi, welcome back. It's so good to see you again. So before the break, we were talking about some pretty amazing stuff. But what I really want to touch on before we go into major conversation is how people can get in touch with you. So I put this link down here below. Can you explain a little bit to the audience what this means, what it is, and all that fun stuff?
Sure. It may seem a little strange, doesn't look like your typical link, but it's just my link tree. If people know what that is, basically it will give you my website, it'll give you my blog, it'll give you the link to my book directly on Amazon, it'll give you the link right to my Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. So it really is a link tree. It's just a, branch that gives you all of my websites all together in one place. So wherever works best for you, if you want to start just by searching my book out, if you are interested in health and fitness and want to pick up better habits for yourself in that, you can just go to the Amazon link there. If you want to find me on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch to watch my live streams that I do daily, you can catch me there as well and go follow my page. Or if you want to check out my websites, Inspiring Leaders Collective, that's my book series name. So that's my website for the book series, and it's a long time in development. I have my second book in the works, which is focused on motivation and success. And So that series is developing. And then I also have, like I said, my blog as well on there, which is just my personal blog where I also give, little tips here and there that kind of bring things together if I want to talk about success or goal setting or specific topics in there. So there's my link tree right there. On my website, you can also find my email if anybody wants to reach out to me personally and ask me questions, talk to me, and if you prefer that way. But to keep it simple, there's my link tree, whatever works best for you.
I love that because it's one-stop shopping. So, so I love that. And then also this is your email, correct?
Yep.
All right, cool. So for those of you who want to just email straight away, this is it. But I love that, depending on what a person's preferences are, they can just go to that one link that we just had up on the screen, which I'll show again in a minute. And then they can just choose what, form of communication they want to have. Because for me, it might be your blog or your book in particular, because I'm a reader. So I love that. That's really cool. I'm so glad that you have so many different ways that people can get in touch with you.
Yeah. No, it's good to bring it all together because it's tough to, build an audience just in one space. And a lot of people who may read my book may not know about the YouTube videos or the stream that I do daily. And so people find me in different ways. I try to make it just an easy place where people can, connect with me anywhere they, wherever they see best fit. If they just want to read the book and get to know that, they can do that. Or,
I love that. So I was thinking during the commercial break a little bit about habits in general. And what would you say are reasons why people wouldn't maybe create new habits? What are the reasons behind that?
Sure. I think, again, I know we touched on this before. I think the main thing would be confidence in themselves again, or another thing would be a lack of knowing, or fear of the unknown. Not knowing what's in that direction. They don't see that. Everybody knows that smoke can kill them in 30, 40, 50 years, but day by day, you kind of lose sight of that picture. And so you don't think about it as that. You think about it as, that week, it's not going to hurt me this week. It's not going to do anything serious to me this week. So, they don't know about it. So they kind of push it in their back of their heads and don't think about it. A lot of people don't take that time to really reflect and think years down the line. They're just thinking of life as it hits them. And taking it as it comes. So to me, it's one of those two things: their lack of confidence or their fear of the unknown. And if you put all this work and this money into something, is it really going to be worth it in the end? Like I said, you really don't know, but it's never a waste if it's something productive that's going to be working towards a goal for yourself. And don't be thinking of money. Do it because of passion, purpose, and pride for yourself. Really think of it that way and find goals that speak to you on that front. And you're never going to be wasting time working on those type of goals.
Well, I love that. And I'd love for you to speak a little bit more about self-confidence, because I really feel like that's something that we could really build on, and something that people can build on their own. Do you have tips for that?
Yeah. This is an easy one for me. I've been talking about this one a lot lately. This actually came up on my stream. We had a quote that related directly to confidence. So I was thinking, brainstorming ways that people can improve their confidence. And what I came up with and what people have been really connecting with is this right here. So I call it, you have to put in the reps to build your confidence. And so it's the REP. So you have your reflection. And like I said, I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't take the time to reflect where they are and where they want to be. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, goal setting. It could be using a journal and reflecting in a journal, coming back each day so that you can gain perspective on how you feel in situations, form your own opinions. And it also could be talking to people, talking to a friend, your spouse, a family member, It could be talking to a therapist if you need a therapist. Really just same thing, hashing out ideas, gaining your perspective on things so that you can build, the confidence to start moving in the right direction. And then the E is education. So through books, through podcasts, as I said before, there's so many resources out there that are just trying to help as many people as possible. And podcasts have really done something amazing where you're able to connect with the people. You really feel like you get to know the people. So then you can, like I said, you connect on a whole different sense. A lot of times when you read a book, you don't know the author behind the book, but this has really helped me by researching all these people, getting to know them, listening to their podcasts and reading their books. Now when I read a book, I really do get to know the author behind it and get to know their incentive on writing the book. And I get to see that transparency that they really are out there just trying to help and give quality information to you. So this is, no matter where you decide to set goals for yourself, again, your relationships, if you just want to educate yourself simply, or if you want to, improve your lifestyle habits, or your health and fitness, guiding yourself in a direction. Once you have your goals set, then you can start heading in that direction by educating yourself. And then, reflection and education are great pieces to the puzzle, but unless you're putting it into practice, and that's my P, then, you're not going to be really moving the ball forward. And you can gain confidence in any of those areas just by putting in the reps. And at the end of it, it's really the practice that you put in. If you're not doing it, you're not going to gain that confidence. And so that's kind of my formula on helping people, take their goals and really evolve them into something that they never thought they'd be able to achieve.
I love that. I mean, especially because a lot of people are waiting for the confidence to start and they don't understand that it doesn't quite work in that order.
No. It is amazing how if you start moving in the right direction in one of these areas, for me, it started out, I was really interested in the motivation and success space, but I was really just me educating myself. And then until I wanted to change something about my health and fitness, then it turned into this whole thing where, I just got sucked into self-improvement in general. And there's just so much. And so once you start moving in one area and you set your mindset on, working on goals for yourself, it's just a chain reaction. And like I said, you'll be amazed at where you end up. And there's always, another level of success, and whatever success means to you. A lot of people think of money when they first think of the word success. And to me, it's really feeling fulfilled in all these areas of your life. And so, whatever that may be, if you need to feel more fulfilled in your relationships or your lifestyle, or for me, a part of fulfillment, success is having my ideal body. And so I'm working towards that. And so health and fitness is a big part of that. And it also lays into lifestyle because, it's obviously about living longer and longevity. So, it all definitely comes together. And so if you start the ball rolling in one direction, you'd be surprised. You start, moving in other directions, finding other podcasts in totally different areas that strike a chord with you, and keep educating yourself and keep setting new goals, new heights for yourself.
Something that you said that I love is that it takes on a momentum of its own when you start making healthy choices. And I know too, that's what happens when you're making unhealthy choices. Mm-hmm. So, when somebody is noticing they're starting to go back into, because it's inevitably going to happen at some point where we don't make the best choice for ourselves, what would you say to somebody who has maybe fallen off the wagon, whatever it may be, with their particular goal? What would you recommend for them to get back on track?
Sure. I mean, to me, it's difficult. There's really two ways you can go about this. And for me personally, it always comes down to myself. Nobody's going to help me and, pull me up and pull me in the right direction. I need to help myself and hold myself accountable. If I make a wrong step here or there, because we're all human, we do, you need to recognize that and really, it's okay to put yourself down a little bit and say, you know what, I'm not that person. I don't want to do that. And so you keep, the next day, it affects you in a way that it's not going to happen again. You start your workout again if that's what you fell off the wagon on, and you just keep pushing forward. And one bad day shouldn't kill you. We all need to relax here and there. This isn't something where you need to up your game every single day. But if you make small changes, I think a typical quote that you may have heard is like, small hinges swing big doors. And so, little changes you make progressively just make just amazing change. And same thing with bad habits. Little things do add up, but try to feed as much good rather than bad as you can. The other thing, if you can really find somebody to go through the journey with you and find what they call an accountability partner, somebody who can hold you to what you're going to say, someone who can hold you accountable. That's, a great thing too. I personally have not experienced it and haven't really had somebody to, run along with everything. I'm doing so many different things, and it's tough. I don't have somebody that has the same lifestyles. I don't have author friends. I don't have, a team. I have my gym at home. It's tough for me, honestly, to get out to the gym and I don't, have a team, a rally of people. And it's, like I said, just a lot easier to wake up and walk into the gym. It makes my habit, that much easier. So.
That's actually really fascinating, because a lot of people, and I was just thinking about this, a lot of people will pick people who have absolutely no idea what you're up to and really can't hold you accountable because they're not in the same realm and world that you are in. It's kind of like going to somebody who's recently divorced and asking them for advice on your marriage. It doesn't make any sense. But I love that you mentioned that, because it matters who you surround yourself with, especially with, somebody who's going to hold you accountable. Because if they don't understand, if you're anybody like me, I'm going to speak about me. If you're anybody like me, if I don't pick somebody who can call me out, I will work my way around it and still meet the obligation that I have with the other person, but not really the obligation that I kept, with myself. So, I think that's really important that you choose wisely. I just want to mention that.
Yeah. And environment is definitely an important thing. Those two things are kind of polar. Holding yourself accountable and having other people that hold you accountable. Put yourself in the right environment. And if somebody asks you to go out for a night and you have a workout to do in the morning, or say I have an interview to do not long after that, I'm not going to be an idiot and you have things that kind of, or that push you to hold yourself accountable, or you find a different crowd that also has, those habits that can, reinforce that. And instead of going out drinking, maybe you can hang out with them and, just talk and relax, play board games, do something a little different that's not going to destroy your productivity the next day.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point, because I used to be the queen of, I want it right now. And I would go out because that's what I wanted right in that moment, not really caring about the next day. But I'm older now, so now I know better. But that is definitely like something that I'm curious. Do you plan your day the day before?
I have typical things I do every day. I have my normal regular job as well. So I do work an 8 to 5. So I have my morning routine in the morning. I have my regular job, and then I usually get my workouts in after my regular job, and then I have dinner, and then it cycles. and weekends is when I can work on my own projects. And so the weekends I kind of have structured more, just so, and every weekend's different. Depending on what I'm working on, the different goals that I have, what I have set up. or if, there's an occasion that I need to attend something, or if I, just need time to relax. Every weekend is different, but if I want a productive day, the best thing that I can do is first thing in the morning or the night before, jot down and literally schedule out what I'm going to do that next day. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to mow the lawn and, write 5 pages and get my workout in the same day, but if you tally it up, actually write it out, it's so much, you can see it happening, you can visualize it and time it out. And so it makes it, that much more likely that it's going to happen.
So my question then is, I feel like one of the reasons why people don't necessarily want to start new habits, even if it's really good for them, even if it's something that they genuinely want, is because they feel like it's somehow taking away a freedom of theirs, like time. And I'm wondering, because obviously you've been able to, instead of thinking about your life as like, I work 8 to 5, I work out, I work on the weekends, I work, always working. It sounds like some of this has turned into fun for you. And I'm just curious what you would say to somebody who has aspirations and does want to, create something bigger and better for themselves, but yet also has a perception of like, I don't want to grind.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's lifestyle is different. And, when I was younger, honestly, my mindset was I want to relax with family, friends, spend as much time, while I'm still in middle school, high school, the people in my life. And that's still the fact, people are the most important thing. And the more valuable time you can spend with your friends and family in that age is obviously that's the most important thing. And then, now I'm at an age, now I'm at a part of my life where I want to contribute as much as I can, and really try and work on that and find different ways to do that. And so, like I said, my goals are totally different than what somebody else's goals are. But if you want to start heading in a positive direction, don't know where to start, that's where you really need to start reflecting and figure out, okay, is it my health and fitness? Is it my, my education? Is it my career? Where do I need to set goals for myself? And if you just start heading in a direction, you're, as long as you're doing something positive, you're heading in the right direction. And, you'll align to, working with passion, pride, and purpose in everything that you do. And so that's really, what I'm trying to do my best at, and what I see, coming from really learning from these people in the self-improvement space.
That is amazing. It made me think of, if you're not willing to change your habits, maybe that's not really the goal that's right for you. Yeah. And like you said, that's the R in reps, is the reflection. So I love that is part of the process that you teach, because a lot of people they give into peer pressure and they do what everybody else around them's doing, like get married, have kids, whatever, 8 to 5 job, all that stuff. And that might not be right for you. That might not be what your thing is. Maybe you don't want to have kids. I don't know. But I love that idea that you can figure it out if you reflect.
Yeah. I mean, I said, just everybody's different, and I'm not going to judge anybody on what their lifestyle is, what they want to do, and just trying to help educate people if they do have, if they do see something more for themselves, if they do see, along the lines they do want to make an impact, or they want to improve any area of their life, how they can get started and build that confidence and get started on. Like I said, if you start working in one area, if you know that you need improvement in one area, if it's your career, your health and fitness, you get started, and, little changes over time. It's not like, I'm trying to say in 30 days, you're going to reach this. It's as people know nowadays, I think people have adjusted to, knowing that those are all selling gimmicks, and that it is a lifestyle thing, and finding what works for you, because everybody is different, and what's going to work for their lifestyle isn't going to work for somebody else's.
No, that's true. It's so true because a lot of people, I know that when I started on my own wellness journey as far as weight and health and nutrition, I was obese. And I mean, I didn't really look it, but I was technically obese. And everybody was like, well, how did you do it? And all these people are trying to do it my way. And my way didn't work for these people because they had a totally different lifestyle than I had. So I was like, you can try, but maybe it's not the best option for you. Yeah. So I love that, you keep mentioning that, you got to do what works for you. And I love that because a lot of people just get stuck on how somebody else did it in their life. And it doesn't have, it's like me going to the hairdresser and saying, I want to have Beyonce's hair. I don't have the same kind of hair as Beyonce. No matter what, I'm never going to have Beyonce hair. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So that's really what I try to, help people with my book. Like I said, it focuses on 6 different people, but the diets that they prescribe, you could say, it's not just like all fat-based. It's not all, a balanced carbohydrate and fat-based. You have some people focused on ancestral / keto type diets. And then you also have, muscle building type diets and that approach of, building lean muscle mass. And then you also have just, general tips that can help you out. You have plant-based diets. There's somebody who's focused on plant-based as well. So there's really a good balance in finding, you can take little tips from everybody. There's no way somebody can follow what all 6 people wrote, but you can use it to find what works for you so that you can develop better habits. And, if you're just trying to find a specific diet to really get started, this will, gear you in a direction that suits your lifestyle, and you can see yourself and the benefits they say you get from it. You can experiment for yourself. And these are all people who have influenced hundreds and thousands of people. So they're things that work based on, different sort of goals of longevity or building muscle or whatever your goals are.
I love that. So I just wanted to mention to anybody who's joining us now, this link here is like there we go, is how everybody can reach you on all your different platforms. Would you mind holding up your book again for those who want to just go straight to Amazon?
Sure. So this is my book, Inspiring Leaders in Health and Fitness, Volume 1. So I do plan on releasing a second. I wanted to write a book on 12 different individuals and have it released in a year. And it took me 2 years to write a book and publish it on 6 people, just because they have, I wanted to spend 1 month on each person. I ended up spending 2 or 3 on each person. And then you have the publishing time, and there's a lot that goes into that. So if you go on Amazon, you can buy the book for, I believe, $8 for the ebook. And then if you want the print, because I did want it as presentable as possible. And there's also, pictures and portraits in here as well. So I wanted it, I didn't want it. It had to be in color too. So I had an artist do portraits of each person. So trying to give, the best quality that I can so people can really connect to it and get as much value out of it, like I said, as I did. And that's the whole goal of it. So, yep. Like I said, you got the ebook and the hardcover on there as well. So.
Awesome. And we are actually almost out of time. Time flies. I was mentioning that before we started. We only have like 2 minutes now. Can you give any final thoughts?
Sure. Just something I'm thinking about now. No matter who you are, if you're old, young, that's really all I want to say is it's never too late or too soon to get started and start to reflect where you're at and start to find, where you want to be in 5-10 years, and how it's really worked for me living this way. I couldn't have said, I'm a civil engineer by trade too. That's my job, my day job. So, 10 years ago, I couldn't have said that I was going to achieve that and be a civil engineer. And 5 years ago, I couldn't have told you that I was going to write a book and have a book published. Being able to achieve these things, it's just, if you start setting goals for yourself and start pushing yourself and put in the reps to get there, then you can achieve, some amazing things. So you're never too young, too old to really get started and start improving yourself. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jake, thank you so much for being on the show. It has been such a pleasure getting to speak with you.
Thank you, Julianne. It was really, really awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's amazing what you're doing through Own Your Wellness, and it's just such a delight to be on. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you again soon.
All righty.
He's amazing. I could actually literally sit there and listen to him tell me tips, tricks, and ideas for another 2-3 hours. So we're going to have him back on the show again. But now that I know what day of the week it is, I have to say goodbye, and we will see you on Thursday. Have a great one, everyone.